Hello everybody, Assassinator back with another Xbox news video letting you know what's happened so far this week. And there's been, I wouldn't say a lot, it's just had some really big things. So the big news that happened to be very bad news. Well, very bad news if you didn't want Microsoft to purchase ABK. Because this week, we finally got the ruling on the FTC's preliminary injunction to block the Microsoft ABK merger, and it has been denied, allowing Microsoft to purchase ABK. Now, along with the denial, Judge Corley also shortened the temporary restraining order to July 14th, making it so the deal can be closed by the deadline of July 18th. Now, in this case, I'd say the legal system worked even when there were different agencies with their own agendas against this corporation. Now, this W for Microsoft was so big that now the CMA is willing to discuss modifications with Microsoft. This is a big change since the CMA seemed 100% against the deal and was not willing to budge at all. So with the CMA's change of heart, Microsoft and the UK regulator agreed to pause their case to negotiate. Now the CMA did put out a statement quoting, "We stand ready to consider any proposals from Microsoft to restructure the transaction in a way that would address the concerns set out in our final report." End quote. Now I'm sure Microsoft and the CMA have been conversating ever since Tuesday, but we've yet to hear anything about their agreement or their proposal. So I guess that's a wait and see. Now, one of the things that I noticed on Tuesday after the preliminary injunction was denied, a lot of the members of the anti-Xbox group let the Xbox community celebrate. I mean, the tweets were kept to a minimum, which was very much appreciated. Now, I don't know if it was them letting us have a break from their BS, or maybe it was just too hard to tweet with watery eyes. I mean, I'm sure a few of them probably spiked their phones once that announcement came out. Now, this case wasn't done after the preliminary injunction was denied because the FTC had an opportunity to appeal the decision. Now, when Bobby Kotick talked about it, he's quoted as saying, "I'd be surprised if they wasted taxpayers' resources." Well, okay, guess what? The FTC did just do that, wasting more money appealing the judge's decision. Well, guess what? On Friday, July 14th at about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Ninth Circuit denied the FTC's request for injunction relief. So what does that mean? The CMA is the only one basically still saying no, but Microsoft is probably working with them to kind of get a yes there. So what does that mean? It means Saturday, July 15th at 12:01 a.m., Microsoft and ABK can close the deal, and Activision will now be owned by Microsoft, which means Xbox will be getting a whole lot of Activision games right into Game Pass sometime in the near future. Now, one of the things that make a lot of people think that this is actually going to happen on Saturday morning is because the NASDAQ will no longer have Activision there. So you will no longer be able to buy Activision stock as of opening Monday morning. So now we'll just have to wait and see when Microsoft announces that Activision is now officially part of Team Green. Now, even if this deal is finished up this weekend, this still isn't the end. The FTC can still go after this deal. I believe they still have a trial set for sometime in August, but we'll have to see if they end up dropping it or if they're just going to waste more of our money. Then there's a CMA. Will something be worked out, or will the UK players be left behind? We might find out more on Monday, July 17th during the Microsoft/CMA Management Conference. Now, either way, it's time to move past this case. I think the best tweet that I seen was by Paris, which is perfect, stating some will celebrate and some will be upset. But now it's time to focus on what's important, which is playing games. So now it's time for me to look at Activision's back catalog and see what I potentially will be getting in the near future. I'll probably end up doing a video on that. Now, with that out of the way, we're moving on to the next, which is a new Marvel game was just announced. EA and Marvel Games both released that EA's new Seattle-based studio called Cliffhanger Games is developing a Black Panther game. So this is the second Marvel game being developed at EA, the first one being Iron Man by EA Motive, which I'm also excited for. Now, Black Panther is said to offer an authentic Black Panther experience, which to me means it's going to be an original story. It's going to be a single-player story-driven game, a third-person action-adventure game. So overall, it's going to be something kind of like Spider-Man for the PlayStation. Now, Cliffhanger Games, which is the studio developing it, is made up of some talented people who helped develop games like Halo Infinite, God of War, Call of Duty, Shadow of Mordor, and many more. Now, this studio is led by former Monolith VP Kevin Steffens. Now this game was actually leaked a while back by Jeff Grubb, who stated the following about the game. It's going to be open world, and the player will learn to become the new Black Panther after the death of the old Black Panther, which would basically be the father. Well, that's if they don't rewrite the story there. I mean, it is going to be original. Now the game is still currently in early development. Now I like all that I'm hearing. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be 4 years plus until we finally get our hands on it. Now it hasn't been announced which platform it'll be coming out for, but it's a very good chance that it'll be coming to all current gen platforms along with PC, because EA is one of the big publishers that they want to have their games everywhere to maximize profits, unlike, Square Enix. So now that's a total of 5 Marvel games in production. The first one being Spider-Man 2, which will release later this year. Wolverine by Insomniac Games, which will probably release in 2024, 2025. I'm thinking more realistic 2025. There's a Marvel game set during the World War II era being developed by Skydance Media. Then we got the Iron Man game that I mentioned, along with this Black Panther game. Now to me, it'd be very cool if we got like an MGU, the Marvel Gaming Universe. It'd probably be a lot of work, but in the end, it'd probably be something very special, kind of like the MCU. Either way, I'm looking forward to playing more Marvel games, as long as they're well made. Because the current ones have been hit and miss. I mean, we got Avengers, which wasn't good. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a good game, but because of Avengers, it kind of didn't do so well because a lot of people just looked at it as another Avengers. And then there's Midnight Suns, which is a card game, which not very many people want to play a card game. So therefore, it hasn't sold very well. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of people who don't even know about Midnight Suns, and that it's a Marvel game. So on top of that, we also got a leak about a different Disney IP. It has been leaked that the next Star Wars game has started development at Respawn Entertainment under the publisher EA. Now the development time between Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor was about 3.5 years, and that's going from 8th gen consoles to 9th gen. And this also included a couple of delays. So the turnaround on the next one should be a bit quicker, so I'm thinking possibly 2026. But the biggest thing that I hope for is that they put some extra polish and optimization into the third game before it actually releases, so that the game can look and run good, unlike Jedi Survivor, which was an amazing game in every way except the performance. Now even though it was a leak, I'm sure a lot of us already felt that the third game was in development, so not really anything new here. I just wonder if this will be the end of Cal Kestis' trilogy, or will the saga continue after the third game? I guess we'll have to wait some years until we finally get that answer. Now, the last piece of news that I'm going to report on happened on Friday, July 14th, and it's kind of a bit sad. Larry Herb, also known as Major Nelson, announced that he will be leaving Xbox after 20 years. Now, I only met Larry once at an E3 many years ago, and he seemed like a genuinely great guy and is an actual gamer. That's one of the things that I like about some of these people, is they actually do play games. They're not just executives at Xbox, unlike Jim Ryan. So all I can say is, I wish him good luck in the next chapter of his life. So that's it for the big news that happened this week. It's now time for us to celebrate. We got a couple big W's in the recent weeks. So this one's just going to be, I guess, the top big W with us getting Activision. Obviously, we'll get another W once we actually hear that it has closed. And then another W once we hear that a lot of the Activision Blizzard games are actually coming into Xbox Game Pass. So a whole lot to celebrate. Well, we get a whole lot of tears from those anti-Xbox people, along with the FTC, who doesn't even know what a W looks like. Have a great weekend. Until next time, Assassinator out.